Sneha Kundu, welcome to Talent Month.
Thank you so much, Garry.
I'm really delighted that you've taken the opportunity to firstly accept the offer and secondly to turn up. So thank you so much.
I'm glad for the opportunity, and I'm glad to be able to do this with you and talk about my journey.
Yes, indeed. And let's start. Let's get to it. So how do you end up? There's a lot of story behind you arriving at this particular point in your career. Tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
I'm from India, from the eastern part of the country. I studied electrical engineering, which was a little strange starting off. When I was studying in my class, we were a class of 70, and there were only 7 girls in my department. So that's where.
In one way, that's good. In one way, that's really bad, but in one way,
super. So it started off that way, and it's been that way throughout most of my journey, but it's evolving at the moment. I started off in Siemens as a graduate engineer in India, and I started off in the engineering and project management roles, which were I had to visit a lot of sites, electrical fields, medium voltage engineering, switchboards, and all of that, the traditional ones. And I also had a keen interest in a lot of the new technologies that were coming up, very different from what we were doing. But because I was interested in them, I kept learning and I kept studying about them. This was when digital transformation was not really a buzzword as it is today. But that happened. I tried a few experiments as part of my company, which supported me. And some of those experiments really worked with implementing technology to improve our processes and all of that. And at that point in time, because some of them worked, my company asked me to start what was then known as the digital office for the medium voltage electrical department that I was part of. Didn't really know what that meant. Didn't really know what I was supposed to do, but I just took that up as an opportunity. It was more like an intrapreneurship opportunity where you had to think about what the problems in the industry were, what the problems that the customers are facing, how can we use technology to help solve those problems. How can we develop a business out of it, portfolio, and I just got started on that journey, not knowing where it would lead me to. But this is where it has. I've moved halfway across the world, and I'm in Ireland now, in Dublin, and I look after. I'm a technical sales expert in IoT and digitalization for electrical power grids, and I look after the Dublin, the Irish, and the UK market, and some of the other European countries as well. So that's where I am.
I'm absolutely exhausted just listening to you, having done all of those amazing things. And you said you started as a graduate. That's not that long ago, I don't think. Is it?
That's about 9.5, 10 years ago.
Okay, so there's so much to talk about in that brief introduction. And I guess we can't ignore the first one, which is not enough females globally find what you do appealing, sexy, attractive, or whatever the other adjective is. Why is that? And what do we do to change it, in your opinion?
Yes, and I think we should have more role models telling people that, this is as glamorous as you want it to be. I think you use the correct adjectives, and a lot of the times the females or girls think that it is not not something that they can do, or not something that comes very naturally to them. But that's absolutely wrong. And being brave is what it takes. So if you're brave, you get on the road, and I'm sure you're going to do like an absolutely fantastic job. And the more people see women in these roles, and I think it's going to just encourage the people who are coming after us to get in this field. We usually see more females in the software industry, but I'm working in a hardcore electrical engineering industry, and it's absolutely possible. It's possible, and it can be done. So there should be more people
there's
doing
an
it.
there's an interesting thing you're saying, and maybe this is where it organically collides, is engineering. For some reason, the word engineering it conjures up sort of hardware, oil, all that type of stuff, whereas actually now everything is emerging with digital twins and technology and BIM, and the hardware stuff is sort of the last point nearly. It's and could you tell us a little bit about that sort of whole thing?
Exactly.
Because until we start actually using words that people can relate to,
right,
rather than engineering, no, I'm not good at that. Whereas engineering has about 20 different facets.
Exactly.
And just tell us about the broadness of the word, and maybe even if you have a moment, out of the 70, the 70 people who went to college, where did they all end up? That gives us a sense of the broadness of opportunity.
Right. So the thing is, it's something that we say at Siemens: the physical and the virtual worlds are combining together, are blending together. So it's a very exciting age to be living in, actually, because we get this opportunity to see all of those blending together, and jobs and roles and responsibilities that we didn't think existed before exist now. So there is need for every kind of skill and in this field as well. So we talked about creativity, creativity in putting all of this together in the digital twins, in the virtual world that we are creating together. And another important thing that we need to think about is while we see technology evolving, we need to implement technology with a purpose and take care of the environment and create an impact with that. So we need more and more ideas. We need more and more minds to be thinking about that, and how we can use technology to improve life and save the planet that we are living in. So each of that is important for the entire role, and for everybody to come together and contribute in that field. It's not really that hard,
Do you know what? What's wonderful about what you're saying is that the digital aspects are just tools. To deliver what you have agreed. The why you're doing it in the first place probably doesn't get enough time. We need to define why we're doing this. And you've beautifully encapsulated there about purpose, planet, etc. And then the rest is, whereas I must say, when I was learning, I was a bad programmer, really bad. We were more interested in getting our heads down and we weren't listening to the why. And, that's the aspect of what you're trying to get across, is that when you try and look at a whole team, you need that whole blending, don't you, of different ways of looking at it. One of the things which is great to hear from an engineer, in fact, it's wonderful to hear, is that you listen to clients, because they usually have the real world problems, right?
Exactly. And that's where my journey started as well. When we started talking about digital transformation, when we started talking about technology, and when data centers became so big, it all started with what's keeping the customer or the client awake at night, what is their problems that they are facing. And it wasn't about the company making a product that we go out to sell. It was about listening to the client, what their problem was, and trying to use technology to solve that problem. So it's a whole different way of how we are doing business. It's a whole different way of how we are talking to the customer, how we are talking to the market, and how we are implementing and taking our business forward. If you look at the larger companies that some of the biggest companies that grew now, the Airbnbs, the Ubers, and all of these technology platforms, they were all solving a problem, a particular problem that the client had, and it was not the reverse way. So listening to the client is extremely important, and in what we do and what I do, that's at the heart of being successful, at the heart of being creative, at the heart of being innovative, and at the heart of making an impact and creating value for all those that you're getting in touch with.
And when you look at the name, and one of the things I noticed was Siemens is the overarching name, but within that then there's loads and loads and loads and loads
True.
of sub-departments and subdivisions.
Correct.
And stuff.
Correct.
But what I think you've dropped over the last decade at least was it used to be something like Siemens Engineering. They used to be a very defined, whereas now it's a brand, and I guess that's reflected in what you're saying there, right?
Yeah, correct. And like I said, we're living in a very exciting age where the physical and the virtual worlds are meeting and blending together. We're talking about industrial metaverse, and we're actually trying to look at the future, what the future is going to be like. And what's most interesting is that today we have a role in defining what that future may look like, and trying to make that future more sustainable, and trying to make an impact on what that future is going to be like for everybody, so that it makes our lives easier and makes the planet more sustainable, and we can leave a healthy way for clients.
And can I ask you about
also shows
teamwork?
Teams.
This is something that really fascinates me. Your team.
Yes.
What's the makeup of your team right now? The different skills, because this is why I think we've a chance of making a difference, is that usually teams were all engineers, and then you'd marketing department, and they were all marketing people, and then you'd all salespeople, and suddenly we were all siloed. And whereas teams now are cross sector, cross skills. I've landed you in it now, because you're going to have to tell me, what's the makeup of your atypical team, or are you in more than one team?
I'm actually in more. I'm actually in 3 teams at least. Firstly, secondly, my teams are all extremely diverse from the perspective of the kind of the age of experience that they have. They're diverse in terms of the kind of experience that they have. They're diverse in the regions and the perspectives that they come from. So what that helps us to do as a team is achieve a lot more, because we are all contributing from all angles and different perspectives, and there's no just one single person or one single way of doing things. That way we're able to solve a lot more problems, a lot more range of problems arising from different regions and different companies. And it's also helping us build like a database or a bank of knowledge within us or within the team. So if I'm talking to a customer in one region and he has a problem, then I already know that somebody in some other region has already faced this problem. We have that experience, and I can use it and I'm solving that problem that much easier and that much faster. So diversity is extremely important, and by diversity, it's about everything, the kind of experience, be it sales, be it product management, be it engineering, project management. So in digital transformation, when we are trying to improve processes and efficiencies at the customers, all of us, having come from these different fields of work, know where the problems are in those particular places of work.
I think that's wonderful.
Together.
It's so wonderful because it used to be theory.
Yeah.
And now we've anecdotal evidence that it's in practice works much better. So you're biologically in Dublin, but you're not really, you're virtually a global citizen.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's the other thing about the wonders of what you're building and where data centers fit in. And I know there's no doubt as we go through these two mega trends of digitalization and decarbonization, naturally where they collide is a data center. So we get a lot of different views on them. But ultimately, the aim is to have digital services or tools that can enhance all aspects of our lives. Question for you. You're 18. You're going back not that long for you. You're in your last year of school. What would you like to tell yourself?
Oh, that's a really difficult question. So one thing that I would like to tell myself is to be to be open, or to have a much more open mind. When we're 18, there are only certain fields of study that were open to us at that point in time, and we thought that this is the traditional way to go. But being brave and being open is extremely important, as I found out a little later in my life. Walk the path that's less trodden. There might be risks, there might be certain difficulties in your way, but the world is going to open up like you've never known it before, and like nobody's ever known it before. So do not plan everything up ahead in advance. Be brave, be open to learning all of the time, and always look to make an impact. That's what I would tell my 18-year-old self.
My goodness, you could have your own show on Oprah. That was so impressive. My goodness. Well, it's been short and sharp, but genuinely, I've really enjoyed so many different aspects of what you've said. You seem to have a good sense of who you are and what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, what you're doing, it seems to be very clear. How you'll do it, that's the unknown. That's probably what makes it so exciting. Yeah,
and that's what we've got to figure out, right? And I think when I first started my job in my first year, my boss asked me to give him a report on an Excel sheet. I said yes to him, purely because I was scared. I was really young, and I couldn't bring myself to say no. I had no idea how to get it done. And after I said yes to him, I went around Googling, researching, asking tons of people to figure out how that's going to be done. And in the end, I got it done. So I think that's that was a learning that I learned, and I said that, okay, I said yes to something that I didn't know how it's going to be done, but I figured it out along the way. And that's something that I've lived by the rest of the way, actually.
Yeah, once you know why it matters to do, rather than just saying yes on a silly errand and spend a lot of time. So listen, it's been wonderful. Thank you so much.
It's been wonderful.
You've been great. You've been great. I look forward to being invited onto your show sometime very soon.
Thank you so much. Hopefully get there.